Hey, what's going on, guys? I had a few minutes and I was out sitting out by the pool. I had a pre-call for a podcast episode, but the individual didn't join the call, so I had a few minutes, and I was thinking, even before I was going to get on that call, I was listening to an audiobook, and something caught my ear, and it really captivated me, really got me to thinking about something. And so I just wanted to share that with you, not to instruct you or to give you anything to do, but I just wanted to share it for anybody who might find value in it, something just to consider, and it may empower you, it may inspire you, you may be able to use it and leverage it somehow in your own personal life. And so the thought that I was focused on, and this one actually goes into another thought, so I'll share both of them with you. But the thought that I just heard and I was meditating on was, we are not afraid of what we think we are afraid of. Rather, we are afraid of what we think we will feel if what we think we are afraid of actually happens. So let me say that one more time. The idea is, we're not really afraid of what we think we are afraid of. Rather, we are afraid of the way we think we will feel if what we think we are afraid of actually happens. And so it was really interesting, because when I hear ideas like this, I put it into my own personal context, and I say, okay, well, what am I afraid of? Let me, in a sense, put this to the test. And I got to thinking, it's kind of true. Like, if I didn't have emotions, I would do anything. I would attempt anything. I would try anything. Like, if I was void of feeling, void of emotions, the anticipation of emotions, like anticipating bad news, getting that phone call or that text message or that email with information that deflates you, upsets you, scares you. We're dealing with emotions. It's not necessarily the information in and of itself. It's how the information is perceived, interpreted, how it makes us feel is what disturbs us. And so just hold that thought. And now I want to share with you another thought that I had picked up a while ago, and that is this art of non-thinking. It comes from this idea that it's not the thoughts or the ideas that upset us. Rather, it's our thinking about the ideas and the thoughts that upset us. So if I were to say a word, give you an idea, a thought, in and of itself, the idea does not upset you. But if you start to think about it and you start to imagine how that's impacting you, influencing your life, making certain things in your life happen or not happen, that thinking, the process of thinking, conjures up all of these negative emotions within you. So it's not the actual thought, but it's the process of thinking that triggers the negative emotion. And so with these two ideas together, I'm not really afraid of what I think I'm afraid of. Rather, I'm afraid of how I think I'm going to feel if what I think I'm afraid of actually happens, paired with, it's not my thoughts or my ideas, but it's my thinking about the thought or the idea, situation or circumstance that causes me to suffer. Suffering comes from thinking, not thought. I just got to thinking, man, how I could leverage that, how I could use that information to do some pretty dope things in this world. I mean, it's one thing to try to use other strategies and techniques and willpower and even prayer and things such as that. None of those things are bad, or, everything has its value, everything has its place. But I was just thinking, if you wanted something really bad in this world, and you were afraid of the steps that were necessary for you to take in order to achieve or to accomplish that thing, and now you have this information, number one, you're not really afraid of doing that thing. You're afraid of the feelings that are attached, right? The anticipated feelings as a result of doing that thing that really concerns you. And then the fact that you have the ability to not think, to not process it. Because even that idea of which you anticipate might happen, the feeling that you anticipate, you don't even have to think about that feeling. You don't even have to think about that thought. So it's like, okay, I want to do this thing. This is what's holding me back. If I do this and this happens, I may feel this way. Well, now I have a greater grip on my feelings. I mean, like, this is like emotional intelligence, right? Part 2, right? 2.0, 3.0, right? It's almost like a mental strategy. And I found it really fascinating. And so I'm gonna try it out, man. I'm gonna put it to the test. I'm gonna try some things, see how it works out. If it works, awesome. I've picked up a new strategy. If it doesn't work, then maybe I'll try it a couple more times. And if it proves not to work for me, then, I'll leave it alone. It's not a big deal. But I did find it pretty fascinating. And I thought that maybe someone out there might be able to benefit from it as well. Let me recap. Number one, you're not afraid of what you think you're afraid of. You're afraid of the feelings you think you will experience as a result of what you think you are afraid of actually happening. And then the second idea is, it's not the thoughts and the ideas. It's not even what you anticipate that creates suffering and that disturbs you. But it's your thinking about it. And thinking is a choice. You don't have to think. You don't have to process it. You don't have to overthink it. You don't have to wrestle with it and struggle with it. You can actually let it be. A thought comes into your mind. You don't actually have to act on it. You don't actually have to do anything with it. You can just let it be. You don't have to judge yourself with it. You don't have to question where it came from. You can just let it be. And so in that, if we know the root to our suffering, the thinking of a thought, and we know that we're really not afraid of anything, but we're more concerned with the emotion that we may experience as a result of it, then we realize that all of these things are in our control. They're in our control. They're in our control. Pretty dope thought. Hope and pray that this helps you in some way, blesses you, empowers you, inspires you, equips you to do whatever it is that you want to do with it.